Hello, beautiful humans. Thank you so much for practicing today. It's me, Lindsay Schooler, here out on my back deck, and I'm doing the voiceover because there was some construction and farm equipment around, so it was a bit noisy. If you want to grab your mat, your blanket, cup of coffee or water and head outside. My dogs, this is Rocky, they're going to be making a little cameo in and out as well. And today I have a blanket laid over my mat, but you can have one or the other or both. If you want to go outside, this is Coco. She's a big sweetie. So make yourself comfortable, gather whatever you might need for this short, simple, sweet practice today. And make yourself comfortable. Any comfortable seat. You could sit cross-legged or one or both legs out straight. Just make yourself comfortable and then start shaking your hands a bit. We're the only animals that stop shaking off our stress and tension, so it's incredibly beneficial to do this really weird shaking you could do all over your whole body. Flick your fingers like you're shaking off water, and then just shake a bit more. Out to the sides, overhead, shake your head. You can do this with your whole body. I might work up to that later in the semester, but just shake it out. It feels so good. It really, really does. Shake it out. Get a little weird with it. And then interlace your fingers, press them forward for a nice little stretch. Switch the lacing and press them overhead. Let your shoulders come up. You can tuck your chin or look up for a breath, and clasp hands behind your back for a stretch for a breath or two. Remember, everything's optional. You can always stay in these stretches longer or skip them or come out sooner. Little shake and then straighten out both legs out to the sides, just as wide as is comfortable, which may or may not be very wide at all. Pull your glutes out of the way, get grounded, flex your feet, bring hands behind, lift your chest. Stay light on those hands though. And then circle your wrists and your ankles. Really big, slow, nice circles with changing direction and stretching between your fingers and toes as well. And then keep your feet flexed, bring hands back behind, lift your chest, and now start to lean your heart forward. So you can keep hands behind if it helps you keep a straight back. That's really key. You want a straight spine and to lead with your heart, not with your head. So if you bring hands to your heart, that might be helpful. You could keep them in front for support if you need, but move your head back, move your heart forward, lengthen your spine, breathe deeply. Just when you're ready, come back upright, bring one foot in, so maybe right foot in, left leg out. Sit nice and tall and turn towards the right or whichever leg is bent, and then you're going to bring that left arm down. Right arm can float like a bird wing a few times. You can keep that right arm down, or you could take it up and over. You could explore some range of motion. If you have the flexibility, if you're able to rest your arm on your leg and then your head on your hand, you can. You could reach the other arm up or bring it behind your head. And this might not be accessible to you, so you can modify as needed. You could keep that bottom arm straight with the hand on the leg or floor. And that top arm doesn't have to come up and over or behind if it feels better to keep it extended up or down along your side. Just when you're ready, slowly come back up. Whichever leg was straight, bend it behind if you're able to. Sit nice and tall, and then twist gently away from your feet towards your knees. Take some deep breaths here. Even though that one hip might be lifted a bit, try to ground back down through it. Draw the belly in and sit tall. Take care to check in with your breath. Just whenever you're ready, take your time to unwind, and we'll switch legs. So other leg goes out straight. This time, if you were with me, it was the right leg. So left knee, twist to the left, then slide right arm down the leg or ground it on the floor. And this side feels much different for me, so it may for you as well. You might need that hand on the floor in front of or behind the leg. You can explore range of motion, kind of flying that opposite arm as you side bend into your spine. You might be able to rest head and the hand on this side, or you might not. And when I have my hand on the ground, I liked to have it in front of the leg so I could use it as a little leverage to turn my heart to the sky. So don't collapse your heart towards the ground. Try to turn towards the sky. And just explore the range of motion in this side bend here wherever feels right to you. So like I said, this side is much tighter for me, so it takes a while longer to get into that kind of peak option of the stretch with both hands at the head here. You might keep both arms extended again, or keep that top arm draped along your side. Just whenever you're ready, coming back upright, right leg or the straight leg bends, and then sit tall, twist gently away from the feet, dropping heavy into both hips, grounding them down, draw in around the waist and sit tall, breathe deep. You can always pause this video at any time if you need to grab something or make yourself more comfortable. I'm not sure if I mentioned you can throw on some music in the background if you want to, if you need, if you haven't yet. Just unwinding from that second side twist. When you're ready, bring the soles of your feet together into Baddha Konasana, or bound angle pose, or butterfly stretch. And just pulling them as close to your body as you can comfortably. If your knees are kind of high or your back feels tight, slide them forward a bit, but sit nice and tall, breathe deep, and then slide them forward farther than they were, probably. Lean forward again, lead with your heart. So you could bring hands to your heart. And there, I wasn't fixing my glasses, I was actually pushing my head back. So heart forward, head back. You could bring hands to the ground in front if that's helpful. Soften and breathe. And then just when you're ready, bring hands behind you to counter stretch. Lift the heart. Chin can tuck or it can lift. Take a breath. And then just when you're ready, come around onto hands and knees. And start to lean a little forward and back, and cat and cow. So exhale to round into cat. Inhale to extend into cow. Just on your own pace there. You can lean a little forward and back. Make sure you have plenty of space between your hands and knees. Exhale to round. Draw the belly in. Tuck the tailbone and chin. Inhale to extend. Tailbone lifts. Heart lifts. Maybe the chin. Just moving through this front to back range of motion as far as is comfortable for you. Engage in the front to round and stretch the back, and then engage the back body to open and stretch the front. And always lean a little forward and back, then find a flat back and stretch side to side. Just a little bit, hip towards the ear towards the hip, and coming back to a neutral spine. Draw in around the waist and reach your right arm forward. Take a couple breaths, just trying to get your spine as long and strong as you can. Gazing down, and then gently switch arms when you're ready. And try to keep the back strong and straight. Core is engaged. Feet can be pointed or flexed. Take another breath, and then bring that hand behind your head. Maybe tap the elbow towards the other arm, and then inhale to open up. And we'll repeat this several times. Inhale to open, heart to the sky. Exhale to dip down and around. Just thoracic, spine, middle body, range of motion. And then reach it back forward, set it back down, and we'll switch sides. So right arm goes out and then to the back of the head. Inhale to open up, exhale. Maybe the arms tap or you just bring it down a little. Whatever range of motion is accessible to you and to you today. And one more inhale to open. We reach up and then forward and bring it back down. And then again, left arm goes forward. Exhale, bend it back like a cactus arm or goalpost. Inhale to reach. Exhale, draw it back. Now try to keep it level, equal distance from the ground as you move through this. Palm faces down. And then gently switch arms. Inhale to extend. Exhale to draw the scapula and elbow back. Soften your face. Tune into your breath. I'm moving a bit quick here, so you can always move slower. Pause the video when you need. And then when you're ready, come to both hands or fists if it's a little hard on your wrists. Left leg goes back, and you can lift if you're able to. Inhale to extend, really stretch super long. And then exhale to round crunch. Try to draw a knee to nose, nose to knee. Inhale, extend, flex the foot, press back through the heel. Exhale to round, tuck the belly in. So inhale, extend. Exhale, round like cat pose. So you crunch it in. Couple more. And the next time that you draw it in, step that foot all the way through. So you could give it a little help if you need. Now try to find 90-degree bends in the knees. So you're in a nice stable lunge. Feet and knees are hips distance, and then come on upright. Make sure you have balance there. Now bring hands to your hips and really try to feel and get a sense of leveling those out. Maybe you felt one hip higher than the other. Hand to belly, hand to heart. Let's take a few deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth, in through the nose, out through the nose. And then when you're ready, bring hands back down, slide the front foot forward, lift your back knee and inchworm it back just as far into this stretch as you can safely. Inhale to lift your heart and drop your hips, then exhale, rock the hips back, front foot flex. We'll repeat this. Inhale, hips low, heart high. Exhale, hips back, head bows. Again, inhale, hips drop, heart lifts. Strong in the legs and core though. The next time you go back, we're going to stay. So only go back as far as you can with your belly glued to your thigh. So the knee is probably going to stay bent. Front foot can flex or point. You could have hands under your shoulders or walk hands farther forward. And this might feel really tight to you. It did to me today. You want to engage the legs. So that front heel, it's probably the left leg, press the heel down and squeeze it towards you a bit. Engage that leg to help with the stretch. And now come back forward, lift up off that back knee. So you're in this high runner's lunge. Find yourself nice and strong and stable there, but you're not going to have to lift yourself up. Just bring right hand low, twist to the left. And then if you can, reach your left hand to the sky. You could always have that back knee down if that feels safer or better to you. Really stretch, broaden your chest. Take another big breath. You could do a little cactus arm movement there. Then bring hands down. And we're going to switch the legs. You could do this jump switch a few times if you have some energy to burn. You want to get to moving a little bit more. You can try those jump switches or just take your time and end up with your right foot forward, left knee back. 90-degree bends in this simple low lunge. Hand to belly, hand to heart. Or maybe you check back in with the hips that they're feeling pretty level and stable. Take a breath or two here. These low lunges are so valuable to do every day to stretch the front of those hip flexors. So that knee that's down, you're stretching the front of the hip. If you want to clasp hands behind your back and add a little extra chest stretch for a breath. And then just when you're ready, hands come back down, scoot the front foot forward, scoot the back knee back. Again, you could keep it on the ground for this stretch. Hips low, heart high, deep breath in. Exhale to rock back. Keep the belly glued to the thigh. Only go back that far. Straight spine. Doesn't have to be a straight leg. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Make sure your feet and knees, again, are hips distance. So your body has that anatomical room to stretch. Hands under the shoulders or walk the hands forward. Bow the head, maybe press the right heel down and pull it towards you, engaging. And you might have to be upright quite a bit. You might not be able to fold very far in this stretch, and that is A-okay. Never moving into pain, no force, no strain. When you're ready, come to that high runner's lunge. So lifting that left knee if you're able to. No biggie if it feels better to keep it down. Left hand low, twist to the right, and maybe right hand goes high. So don't collapse into that left arm and shoulder. Try to lift up out of it. You could do a cactus arm or two here. Really try to broaden the chest, reach the arms apart, strong in the whole body, deep breaths. And then just when you're ready, bring hands back down, step back to a plank. So you could have the knees lifted or lowered. If they're lifted, drop them down for a minute. Get a strong core and straight spine, and then lift the knees again if you're able to. So with or without the knees, taking a few deep breaths in this strong plank. Strong spine, strong core. If you want to stretch up and back to downward facing dog in this upside down V shape, you're welcome to. And then we'll all drop our knees super wide, maybe a little cat and cow. Rock your hips back over your heels and bow your head down to child's pose. If you don't reach the floor, if it feels better, you can rest head in your hands in some way. Let your belly soften. Let your hips soften back. And if you're able to relax all the way down, you can use your hands as a pillow or you can extend them all the way out. Take some big, deep breaths here and stay here as long as you want. Just when you're ready, come back up to hands and knees for a few rounds of cat and cow. Inhale, spinal extension. Exhale, spinal flexion. Making a little more room for yourself, and then make your way all the way onto your belly just when you're ready. No rush. We're going to find our way right through low cobra into Shalabhasana or locust pose. So Reach your hands and arms back, palms face down, fingers stretched super wide. Chin is tucked a bit, so gazing downward or slightly forward. If you're able to lift the legs, squeeze the big toes together. And then just keep lengthening here. So fingers and toes reach back. Draw the belly in. Core is engaged here to support. Inhale, lift as high as you can, and then exhale to rest. You can just rest all the way out flat or bend the knees and rock feet side to side. So we're going to do 2 more of these belly back bends. You can always skip. You can repeat that locust pose, or you can take it one step farther. So come into that locust pose with your head down and your hands and feet lifted first, and then lift the back of your head so the neck stays long. If you want to take that one step further, clasp hands at your low back, but lift them off the body. Feet and knuckles reach back. Core is engaged to protect the low back. Hips press down. Deep breaths here. Inhale, lifting as high as you're able to, strong in the spine. And then exhale to slowly release down. You can straighten the legs or bend knees and windshield wiper feet side to side again, slow. You can always rest melting here, or if you're able to reach back for both feet or ankles, you could do one at a time. Or if you have a strap or a shirt handy, you could loop it around for a little extra reach, and then just let your head rest. So take that passive hip stretch, passive quad stretch here to the front of the hips. Draw the belly in and press your hip bones down gently to really isolate that stretch into the thighs, not into the low back. Now, if you're able to engage here, walk hands to the ankles and start to press the shins back and lift the feet slightly. Now you're really engaged around the core. If this doesn't feel good to your low back, just release out of it back to one of those first 2 options we did. Otherwise, you could bring hands to your feet and make the legs strong work to lift a little higher. Hold that as long as you can, and then just rest when you need to. Feet can rock or legs can go out straight. Let's take some big deep breaths here. And just whenever you're ready, come back up from hands and knees. One little bit we forgot. Take that right leg back, nice and strong. Press back through the heel. Inhale and exhale to round. Inhale it back. Exhale to round. Inhale, extend. Exhale, flex. Knee to nose. Stretch it back. Next time you're going to step that right foot all the way through. You can keep that back knee lifted or lowered. Come on up. If you're able to come up into this high lunge, you can level out the hips again. Maybe bring a hand to your belly, a hand to your heart for some deep breaths. Now let's get a little picky about the anatomy. Notice what happens with the front knee bent and the back leg straight, how that feels to your low back, versus bending the back knee a bit and straightening. So you could even watch the video here to notice what happens in my body. With the legs straight, it shifts me forward. With the knee bent, I can tilt my pelvis back and align my spine. So if the leg is straight, then it puts that strain into your low back. So that's a lot of kind of detailed anatomy of it. Just throwing it out there. Come to that low lunge with the back knee down when you're ready. And then right hand back, left arm forward. Right arm drops behind, left arm reaches up. So you're twisted to the right, right leg is forward. And then when you're ready, come all the way down and around into this half yogi squat. So you're bending into the right knee, left leg is straight. You could come up high if you need, or down low. So this is the half yogi squat that you might eventually work up to, or it might be accessible in your body now. Otherwise, just lunge as low as you can here to the right. Maybe feet planted and you go lower. Maybe right heel lifts, left toes lift. You could keep a hand or two down for balance. If you practice balance quite a bit, you might be able to bring one or both hands to the heart and then up and over to the second side. So again, you could stay up high. You could come down low if that's accessible to you. No right, no wrong. We're all at different parts of the journey. We're all born with different bodies that have been through lots of different things. And whenever you're ready, you're going to turn towards that left leg and come into that high Lunge on this side. So lift that back knee, strong back leg. Come on up if you're able to. Notice how it feels to bend that back knee a little versus straightening it, but you're squeezing that back thigh either way. Both legs are squeezed nice and strong. Strong in the core. Just notice how it feels, not letting that dip come into your low back. Deep breaths here, maybe hand to belly and heart. Just when you're ready, back knee drops, lifting yourself up if you weren't already. We're going to take our left arm back, twisting to the left, right arm forward. Deep breaths here. You're still strong in the legs and core for your balance, but soften your upper body to allow more breath. Left arm drops behind, right arm reaches up. You can look forward or up, whatever works. And then when you're ready, come around to that half yogi squat on the second side. Remember, you could stay up high if that's what you need, your body needs. Just when you're ready, super slow up and over to that second side or the side we began in, that half yogi squat. Take a breath or so. And then whenever you're ready, wide leg forward fold. So feet nice and wide, toes turn straight ahead. Now you can walk your hands out forward. If they reach the ground, you can take feet apart wider if you need to be able to fold farther. See if you can walk hands back in between your feet. Hands stay about shoulder distance though. Let your head relax down just for another breath or two. And then just when you're ready, come all the way back down to sit. If you want to sit back on your heels into hero's pose, or just take a moment to sit any way you can. Hand to belly, hand to heart, tune back into the breath. Take a few breaths here. And then if you want to come into this toe stretch, so I was originally sitting back on my heels, and that may or may not be accessible in your body. If you want to try this toe stretch, come into a little squat. So feet are about hips distance. Turn all your toes forward, stretch them out a bit. And make sure that feels safe, and then bring knees down. And you might keep hands forward. You might keep leaning forward if that's where you're at in the stretch. If you're able to come upright, you're welcome to, but stay strong in the core and legs so you're not putting all that pressure on your feet and toes. You're trying to gently lift yourself up a bit as well. And just staying there for as many breaths as you can. You can let the feet come back out, maybe hands behind, lift the heart and or the hips for a breath or two. And then coming back down, and then we'll come into that toe stretch once more. So if that felt okay, again, you could keep hands down, or if you want to stand upright for this Ustrasana or camel pose, you can have fingers pointed down or fingers pointed up, and then draw the belly in and lift the heart. So you might lean back a bit if you're able to. Some of you, your feet might be accessible to you, but you don't want to bend at the low back. You want to keep the core engaged and lift from the chest and the heart space instead. And that's a pretty big one, so just exploring it for a moment if you're able to, and then coming back around to any comfortable seat. Once you're sitting comfortably, go ahead and shake it out again. Shake your hands, flick your fingers, stretch your jaw, shake it out as much as you need. And then whenever you're ready, we're going to do a pranayama breathing technique called alternate nostril breath or Nadi Shodhana. Non-dominant hand rests. You can bring thumb and index together if you like. Dominant hand, you're going to use your thumb and your ring finger. So close off the right side of your nose and inhale left. Close off both sides, hold the breath, and then exhale right. Take your time. Inhale right side only. Close off, retain the breath, and then exhale left. Now sit nice and tall and relaxed. Again, inhale left, 2, 3. Hold the breath, both sides. Exhale right, 2, 3. Keep it going. Inhale right, 2, 3. Retain the breath. Exhale left. Sit nice and tall. You could soften or softly close your eyes. Inhale left. Retain the breath, closing off. Exhale right. And then just keep this going slow in your own breath cycle. You could link that count if you like. Hold the breath for 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 1, 2, 3. Inhale to a count of 3. Hold the breath to a count of 3. And exhale to a count of 3. And you might also just really feel and even visualize the breath going in one side, up and over and out the other. Keep this alternate nostril breath going if you're able to. I know it can feel a little awkward if you're stuffy or you haven't practiced it before. And then just when you're ready, just having practiced a short bit of it, let both hands rest and take a few breaths. And we'll explore that pranayama technique for longer next time. Take a moment to count your blessings, maybe thankful for this breath, thankful for this life. You guys are doing great. And then go ahead and roll your mat and or your blanket up. So since I have both, I make it a little thick and then I end up needing to readjust and make it smaller. So you really don't want it to be too big of a roll, and it's up to you. I wanted my hips to still be cushioned, but if you want to spin around the other way, you can have your head on the cushioned side. So your mat's not rolled up all the way, just roll it up a little bit. We did this in a previous video. You're going to lay back over that blanket roll or that mat roll if all you have is your mat. And if it feels like too much, you want it to be really subtle. So you could adjust to a slightly new spot, or as I realize here, I've just made the roll too big. So I just unroll it a bit. You want it to be just subtle. We're usually pretty sticky and tight here in this area of our upper back, so just a small roll is plenty to be able to relax over into. And I like to use my hands as a pillow here, so just hands are stacked behind my head. Whatever's comfortable for you, maybe arms out to the sides. You could bend your knees and plant your feet. Maybe feet go nice and wide. Knees can fall in together. And if you want to add movement, you could rock your knees side to side and turn your head opposite the knees, or just be still here and breathe deeply. Soften the back body and allow breath to expand the front of your body. Stay here. I'm going to leave you here. I want you to stay here as long as you can. It was at this point where my dogs started barking quite wildly. But I want to encourage you to stay here for as long as it serves you. So just for this last minute or two, I'm going to be petting my dogs for a moment. If you are missing your dogs or you love dogs, you want to see some sweet puppy love, Coco and Rocky. We're sending all the cuddly, loving energy out to you as well. So give yourself permission to keep resting there, laying back over that mat or blanket roll as long as it really nourishes you. Stay, count your blessings. You could always count those simple blessings. Grateful for toothbrushes and toothpaste and a bed and food in our belly, clean water. Stay here as long as you like. Close your practice in gratitude when you're ready. Much love.